Hi there, welcome to my channel. I'm Christy. If you're new here, I am from Northern Alberta, Canada. So today's video is a little bit of everything. We're gonna go do chores together. This morning, I have been informed that where I live is the second coldest place on earth today. So you get to go with me outside and experience that. And so we're gonna check on my chickens, see how they did in the negative 50 degrees Celsius wind chills that we are experiencing. We're gonna go check the horses, take care of them, feed them, and we're gonna cook some dinner. So I hope that you enjoyed today's vlog, and we'll see you back here in a bit. Negative 50 degrees Celsius wind chill. I'm a little concerned about our livestock, so we'll go check on them and make sure that the chickens and the guineas and the horses and the cats and the dogs are all doing well. I'm still sick, so I don't really want to be going outside in this weather, but gotta do what you gotta do. So let's go get bundled up and check and make sure the animals are okay in this negative 50 degrees Celsius wind chills. Okay, let's go try not to get hypothermia. Not my favorite time of the year when it gets like this. It's so miserable and it's so hard on the animals. And it's not fun. Not fun at all. Cold. You hungry? Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. No jumping. Be nice. Good morning. Is it nice and toasty warm? Are you warm? Yes, you're nice and warm. Hey, Reggie. Looks like everybody's okay. We have one laying in here. She's laid an egg. One trying to lay an egg. You can see your breath, little hen. Some more water, you guys. Come on. Chick, chick, chick. There's some food. Heater's going. Oh, that's nice. Nice and warm and dry. It's a nice dry heat. Hey, honey. You wanna go have some water? Come on. Want some? So my chicken coop is heated, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing. I wanted to keep this door closed for a minute and get the temperature more accurate so I can take a reading and see how cold it actually is in here. Like the ambient temperature outside right now is negative 40 degrees Celsius, and we have a wind chill of negative 50 degrees Celsius. And so it's cold. I mean, it's a winter day in northern Alberta, so it's cold. My chickens, originally my plan was to have a guinea coop and a chicken coop because typically our guineas and chickens don't get along very well. We ended up dispatching our old rooster, guinea rooster, who was the problem. He ended up getting really badly hurt from fighting, and he wasn't going to recover from his injuries, so we ended up dispatching him. Since he's gone, our guineas and chickens are getting along really good. Same with our older roosters. We put them in our freezer, so our young roosters and the young guinea roosters are getting along. So we were able to house everybody in one coop, which is really awesome. As you can see, they get along great. They're eating together and whatnot. So I had to show you something quickly. This little guinea here, I found him yesterday laying under, he was hiding. This little guy here, he probably froze his feet, or she. Sorry, snotsicles, lovely, how attractive. So yesterday it was just as cold yesterday. And I think the wind chill was even colder, and that little guy got out. Usually I leave the one door open so the cats can come in, because the cats stay in here. That, like, we have some wild cats that like to come and stay in here. And so he went out because just 12 hours earlier it was much warmer, and the rest of the family, the guinea family, came in, but he got left behind. And I searched and searched and searched, and I couldn't find him. I was outside searching for like an hour. I finally found him. He was hiding. Found him hiding underneath a plywood. And so I tried to catch him. I thought he was, I went to go pick him up. I thought he was a goner. But he was alive, and he flew up in a tree. Couldn't stay in the tree because he was too cold. And so I got him down, and he flew into a different tree, and finally he fell on the ground, and I was able to kind of shoo him into the coop and lock the coop down so they can't get out again. And so it's actually, I thought it was gonna die, but it survived, and I'm pretty glad, because this heater in here, it makes it quite nice and dry. Here, it's an infrared heater, and it has 3 settings. I have it set on high right now, and it's also on a timer, and it keeps everything dry. It dries, it's like it heats up what it's like in contact with, and it keeps it nice and dry, so I don't worry about any frostbite. And these chickens are doing really, really well, and the guineas are doing well. I mean, obviously you can tell they're eating and they're laying eggs, so they're doing all right. The guineas like to cool themselves, and they'll sit on the floor because it's a little cooler, where the chickens, they like their feet really warm. So the guineas, they do things different. Sometimes they'll sit on the roost, sometimes they sit on the bale, but it keeps it nice and dry. They also have a dust bath, so I have a dust bath there for them. And it does keep it thawed out enough that they can continuously have baths, and they're just really happy. They're not under stress, they're pretty quiet, they're just content, and they're just gonna sleep and enjoy the warmth on this cold day. So I'd like to see how this heater is keeping it warm in here. Should be able to tell. I don't know if you can see it. It's 25 below in here, which is what I was kind of expecting it to be, 25 below, simply because it's 51 wind chill outside right now. The wind is blowing straight onto this chicken coop, so I would expect it to be that cold. But they're content. I don't see anyone shivering. So one of the things I like to do is sit in here and make sure no one's shivering. I'm gonna actually put, it's called VetRx. I'm gonna put some VetRx in the water. The water's already freezing. I just brought this out here and it's already freezing. They're not thirsty. Yeah, I just filled it in the house of warm water and it's already frozen since we've been out here. It's pretty cold, you guys. It's pretty cold. But I don't see anyone shiver. Do you? You see any shivering? So I'm happy they're doing well. I'm really glad with this investment of this heater. I keep it usually on low or I set it on number 2 or number 1, which is pretty low. It doesn't draw a lot of power and it definitely keeps everything dry in here. And so I'm pretty happy with it. Definitely it was the best investment for us of what we're doing. And I knock on wood, I haven't lost any chickens this year. We've had some pretty crazy temperatures, and we actually did have a little bit of a they had a little bit of a cold that kind of went through them, just from the temperature changing. And I put VetRx in the water and had this heater going, and they all recovered very, very, very well, and they're doing great. So I'm gonna keep them in here. They don't seem to be too upset. There's a lot of birds in here. They also keep it warm, so I'm happy with that. And so now we got to go feed the horses and stuff. And it's warm. It's, you know, when it's 25 below in here and it's warm compared to outside, I kind of want to stay in here a little bit longer. Not wanna. Okay, my horses are hungry. My horses are hungry. My horses are hungry. Let's go and get this over with. I don't know. I gotta check if there's any eggs though first. Oh, she did lay one. She laid an egg, and mine is 20 degrees south, 25 inside the coop. Oh, it's warmer than that. No, it's 25. Mine is 25. This usually is only around minus 15 on our coldest days. So, and they're really content at that temperature. Oh, so cold. Oh. Oh, it gets you in the face. It's like being in a fist fight with Mother Nature. Ow! Hurts the eyes. I love living here in Canada, but sometimes I wonder, why do I live where the air hurts my face? And then I just look around and I remember, because it's fabulous. And I don't know life any other way. I think for dinner tonight, I'm going to make chili. I haven't made chili for a while, so I think we'll do that. I have a lot of ingredients that I grew and preserved myself, and I think that'll be a fun project to make for dinner, to keep the kitchen nice and warm and keep the fire stoked. And we'll have a cook with me video today. I just got to put this egg inside. Oh, it's cold. Okay. Let's go. You're fogging up. Okay. The wind is really strong over there. And warmer gloves. You know what? I should actually find some warmer gloves because my hands are frozen. 1 second. Found some. Now, let's go torture ourselves some more. Gotta feed the horses, gotta feed the horses. Now, we don't blanket our horses unless they're shivering. And so it's really hard on the livestock, especially if you cover them, because they can't regulate their temperature and whatnot. So I check them and I make sure no one's shivering. And if they're shivering, then I bring them up in and I cover them. I clean all the ice off them and blanket them and get them warmed up until they can regulate themselves again. But that's worst case. We typically just let them regulate themselves and they're good to go. So I'm just gonna feed these cats quickly and then we'll go feed the ponies. Get the horses fed. Ah, it's cold. Those ice balls off his feet. Oh, good boy. Come on, have your foot. Have your foot. I know it's cold. Oh, you little jerk. This is the worst part of every freaking day is trying to catch this darn pony. He just hurts himself every day that he does this. Check Bailey's feet look good. Coconut. Hey, buddy. Are you cold? Oh, I know. Get you cleaned off. Oh. Good boy. See your foot. Come on. Shivering? No, he's not. No shivers for Iceman today, so he doesn't need a blanket. Alrighty. The horses are fed and they had their hooves picked. It's starting to warm up really quickly. My feet are freezing. I've probably been out here for like 40 minutes and I'm cold too. But I'm just gonna check the water and then see if I have to fill it up or what. It's heated. Check it. I'm gonna leave it till it warms up tomorrow. Before filling it, it'll be nice and warm for them. Yeah, they'll have lots of water till tomorrow when it's warmer. So it's time to go in and get warmed up and stoke the fire. I made the decision I'm not going to cover the horses because they're going to get too warm. And my biggest issue is that they are covered in frost and they're going to get warm, and that icy stuff that I can't brush out of their coat, it's going to melt. And then they're gonna get a really bad chill if I cover them. They're not really that cold right now. They're shivering here and there. I gave them some feed that will help them warm up, and they're starting to get active and move around. The sun is up, and so they're gonna be fine. I'm gonna go check them in an hour, and if anyone is shivering, I then will bring them inside of the lean-to. I'll set a pen in there for them, put some feed in there and blanket them, and then go get one of my spare heaters out of my farm office and get them warmed up. But I generally do not like to do that because it messes with their ability to regulate their temperature in our extreme climate. They're used to these temperatures, so we'll see. I would like to go put some Vaseline on their eyelashes. Unfortunately, I don't have any here that doesn't have VetRx in it, and I don't want to put that on their eyes. I just want plain Vaseline, and my truck is probably not going to start. So we'll see. We'll see if my husband can bring some from town and whatnot. But I'm going to stoke the fire. My phone's about to die, and I'm going to warm up, and then we'll make some dinner together later on when I'm ready to be in the kitchen. I'll see you back here in a bit. I did freeze my hand a little bit, so I'm going to put some lotion on that. And you can see there, it's frozen from just picking the horse's feet. So, yeah, it hurts, so I'm gonna put some stuff on it. I'm gonna use Renew. This stuff works really good for that. It's from Melaleuca, which is an American company, I believe, so works good for me. It's pretty sore, actually. It doesn't take long. I've already used this up just about. I don't know, what do you guys do for frostbite? Seems to help. It's what I've been using and does good. Well, I think it's about time to start supper, so let's go shop the pantry and see what we can find to make some chili from homegrown ingredients, homegrown and home preserved. On our way, let's check our lettuce. I'm rearranging in here. This is my new grow room, and so I'm moving all this stuff around. I just moved that shelf earlier where I have a bunch of freeze-dried ingredients. I will need mushrooms, and I already have some opened tomatoes upstairs. I'm going to show you how I use them to make a really fresh tasting tomato sauce, which I really love, and use it as a thickener as well. But I just wanted to quickly check our seedlings. Our lettuce seedlings are doing really well. I would like to get my shelving all set up. I have to organize it, and I have another shelf to come in. I'm thinking about putting the other shelf here, so I have 2 grow shelves, and then I can start seedlings for growing lettuce before I get started with my tulips for the flower farm. So I'm kind of excited. On this really cold day, I feel very motivated to spend time in this room. I want to get it set up. I actually have a microscope I want to get set up in here today. I'm not sure if I'm going to get video of that, but once I kind of get it all set up and working and functioning, and I can test my soil in the greenhouse, I'll share some updates with you of what I've learned. Okay, let's go grocery shopping. Hey, Seedy. Hey, what you doing? What are you doing? Hi. Hi. You guys warm? Mm-hmm. It's kind of getting to be slim pickings. I know it looks like lots, but I need to face some stuff. I want to use up. So last year I made this corn salsa, and the corn that I used in here, it was ridiculously sweet. And so I think this will be good to use a jar of this up in my chili. So We'll take one of them. What else do we have here? We can take, I think this is just tomato sauce. So, and these are just canned tomatoes. And these are canned tomatoes with celery. I don't know if I want to do that. I like to use those for soups. But I think I'll take some diced tomatoes. There's a black tomato in there. The indigo rose tomatoes, some of them I left the peels on. And some of them have a very dark flesh. Take tomato sauce. What else do we have? You know what? I'm gonna trade up. I'm gonna take a big jar and put this little jar of tomatoes back. That's ketchup. I only have 3 jars of ketchup left. Tomato juice. I'm getting low, you guys, really low. I have so much canning to do. This is salsa. I do sometimes put salsa, like regular salsa, in my chili, but today I'm gonna do my sweet corn chili, sweet corn salsa in the chili. I'm debating whether I want to put some cowboy candy in there, but I definitely want to just do pickled peppers. I think that would be good. They're just banana peppers. They're not spicy. I have pickled peppers that are spicy, like I have jalapenos, but I really like this size and these jars for making tacos. And I only have a few jars left because we use, like, I only have 6 jars left. We use it so much and I want to save it, so I'm not going to use those. But I am going to grab some frozen things out of the freezer because it's all prepped up. Okay, so it's a little bit disorganized. I'm gonna grab a bag of these green peppers, and I probably won't use a whole bag. I don't know if there's anything in here. Probably not. These are more soup bases. I don't really need any of them, so I'll just cut up a fresh onion. So I'll put this back in the freezer, and we're good to go with peppers. Peppers, and we need beans. So I think I'm not gonna go, maybe I will. Black beans. Tyson prefers not to have beans, but we need to use these up, so I'm just gonna use regular beans, and he prefers these over kidney beans. They're just the chili beans. And so yeah, all this is homegrown, home preserved, and let's go start cooking. All right, so these are a few of the homegrown ingredients that I'm going to use today to make the chili. So I thought I had mushrooms upstairs that were already open, but I forgot I used them the other day in a omelet. So I have tomatoes up here that I'm going to use in this recipe to freshen it up, but I'm going to go get some mushrooms, some freeze-dried mushrooms, so that we can then use those. And if you're wondering what a freeze dryer is, I'll just show you quickly. So this is a freeze dryer, and then that up there is a dehydrator. So that would be like using air and heat to dry food. A freeze dryer is a unit that uses freezing and a vacuum this is a vacuum pump. It uses the vacuum to dry food. So it holds a lot more nutrients, and it has it holds the color and the appearance and the texture is really good. So then that's what we use to freeze dry. And so when I'm referencing freeze dryer, that's the unit I'm talking about, that I make I preserve my produce, a lot of my produce like mushrooms and tomatoes, using this method with the freeze dryer instead of dehydrating. Okie dokie. So I have jars of diced mushrooms. I think these ones are the mushrooms that I grew here this year, and they're the freshest. These ones are from the previous year, and so I think I want to use these ones up, and yeah, we'll use these ones up. I'm just thinking if I need anything else. I have corn upstairs already, and I have corn in the salsa, so we won't need corn. I'm not gonna put leeks in there, although I could, and it would probably make a really nice flavor, but today I'm just gonna skip it. This will be good for now, I think. We just need mushrooms. This will be just fine. To start things off, we're going to reconstitute the mushrooms and get them soaking so that we can add them nice and hydrated as we're cooking. So I'm just gonna hydrate them right into this one jar. It needs to be washed anyways, and I added a few more in there for tonight's recipe. And so it's as easy as that. You just add water and let them soak, and they will plump up and get nice and hydrated. And so I'm not using all of the peppers. I actually put these all back into the freezer, whatever was left in the bags. And I wanted to get some garlic pressed. This is homegrown garlic that I had some smaller bulbs to use up. These are my onions from the garden that are small. I have lots of onions in stores as well, but these ones were the ones that needed to be used up first. And I'm just picking through to see which ones are needing to be used up. Priority, ones that aren't going to keep very much longer. These ones are super strong. I originally was going to put 3 in. I only put 2 in because they're so strong. So I'm just going to get my pan ready to start searing up the meat, or browning the meat. And because I'm using a really lean meat, I want to make sure I have a good amount of oil in my pan. It's good and hot, so we'll get cooking on this hamburger. I have one of those Pampered Chef meat things. I don't overly love this tool. I know lots of people do. It makes quick work of breaking up hamburger, but I don't like cleaning it. It's not my favorite tool to clean. So as I was cooking, I thought I'd put the onions in there. I like to cook the onions and the meat together. I like the flavor that they have when they brown up together, and the onions caramelize and the meat gets nice and brown. So now I'm going to just open up all my jars, or most of them anyway, and make sure everything's good, has a good seal, and that nothing has gone bad. And before I start dumping things in, I always like to check. It's a good practice to check and make sure everything is safe to use. The beans had a lot of sauce. I prefer to just dump them in. I didn't rinse these. I just let them drain out some of the sauce. Tyson does not like beans, and he doesn't like the flavor of beans. He likes chili as long as it doesn't taste like chili or beans. So I'm adding the mushrooms, the fluid and everything, and the peppers. If I had fresh mushrooms, I would have just used fresh mushrooms, but I just had the ones I preserved. And so I used that. And then I added the garlic, and this is the jar of salsa I opened up just to make sure it was good to use. Now this is what I like to do whenever I'm using tomato products that have been canned. I like to use freeze-dried tomatoes crushed up and put in, because freeze-dried tomatoes taste exactly the same as the day you harvested them out of the garden. They don't have a cooked flavor. They don't lose their sweetness. They actually get sweeter and more enhanced flavor. So when you add that into your sauce, it enhances the flavor to taste more garden fresh, which is what I love. I like that freshness. So I added some chili powder, some salt and pepper into the tomatoes, and I'm just gonna add that in just like it's a seasoning, and it'll get really thick, kind of like a taco meat. You know how when you add your seasoning to taco meat, it gets really thick? That's what's gonna happen here. And I want that to happen because the tomatoes begin to absorb all the fluid and the flavor, and it just makes a really nice, it makes a really good flavor. And then I added the beans in and gave it a good stir. And then goes in the salsa. Now, the corn salsa it has a different flavor than what I'm used to. I like using plain salsa, but the corn salsa worked for this recipe. And then I just added the tomato products, this tomato sauce and my stewed tomatoes. And it was too thin. I wanted to thicken it up, so I added freeze-dried corn. And the corn actually absorbs the fluid in the dish, and it hydrates. To reconstitute, it pulls the sauce, so it thickens. It naturally thickens it. To serve this tonight, I was going to do it on mashed potatoes. So this is all I have left from my garden for potatoes. I had a really bad potato year, and I'm just going through and picking the ones that are needing to be used up first. You can see there's some sprouts on a few of them. I'm picking through and taking those ones to use them first. And the potatoes, there's not very many, but they sure are delicious. There is no comparison to homegrown potatoes to the ones you buy in the store. I don't care what you say, they don't taste the same. So I wanted to stew this for a long time, and I keep mixing it and making sure that nothing's sticking to the bottom, and it's thickening up nicely. It has a really nice scent, smell. I would have liked to cook it a lot longer than I did, but it was supper time and we had some hungry bellies. So this is what it looked like. I served it on some mashed potatoes and some really creamy mashed potatoes. They were really delicious. Tasted good. I would have preferred to use regular salsa instead of my corn salsa, but it was all good. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, spending some time in my kitchen, spending some time on my farm. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.